Hello. I have a question for those of you who do laundry. I have some shirts that I pulled out of my dresser. I was going to put this black one on instead of the pink one. But when I pulled it out, and I hope you can see it, it's got all these little spots all over it. Kind of like, I don't know, mildew maybe? Something like that. These were perfectly dry when I put them away. I mean, they had been out dry for a couple months before I folded them up and put them in the dresser. The dresser, as far as I'm aware, was completely dry. So I don't know why I would be getting these weird, and it's hard to see, these weird spots all over. I mean, it's all over the front and the back. Here in the front, you can see it even more. Kind of looks like it got dragged through dust, but that's not dust. That's just a higher concentration of the spots. I just don't understand what's happening here. Anybody have any ideas? Any ideas on what I can do to get rid of these marks? Because I have two black ones and the same thing is happening on both of them. So here's the other one. This one has less of it, but it's here. I mean, you're probably not going to be able to see it. And this one does have a little bit of dust as well. But I don't know. I find it very strange. And it's not just the black ones. It's all the dark ones. So this purple one also has it. This lighting in here is so bad. But here, I mean, it's like, you know, is it affecting the dye? Whatever it is? Because it seems like lighter spots. I wish I could show it to you better. I don't know, can you tell from this? It's got all these little spots. It makes me think of mold or mildew, but I don't know why that would be happening. I mean, here I can see it on the back of the neckline, but you're probably not going to be able to see it because the lighting in here is so crap. Well, you can see it a little bit maybe. So I don't understand why this is happening. I'm going to try taking them to a laundromat, washing them, and drying them in an actual dryer instead of on a drying rack. But I don't see why that should make a difference because they were bone dry when I put them away and they didn't have the marks. And now they're covered in it. This one only had one or two little speckles and it's more on the back than on the front, I think. I'm not seeing any right now. So I don't know if it was the way they were stacked. The bottom one maybe had more, and then the next one up had a little less, and the next one up a little less, and then this one would be the next one up. I don't know. I'm baffled. But I can't really afford to have my clothes getting ruined because of something happening when they're put away. It's very frustrating. Luckily, these shirts were only like $2 a piece. I think the most expensive one I bought at $5, but you know, the cheapest one was $2. And they're all the same shirt, just different colors. But they're super soft, super comfortable. I love them to death, but I really don't want them ruined. Anybody know how much it costs to go to the laundromat? We've had a washer and dryer for as long as I can remember. I haven't had to use a laundromat since I was in college back in the early 90s. And then it was 75 cents to wash and 75 cents to dry unless you overloaded the dryer. But even then, it was just the 1 year in the dorm I had my own washer and dryer when I moved out. So I don't know how much it even costs to go to the laundromat. I mean, if it's $1 a load, which is probably more than that by now. Geez, that was what, 30 years ago. Yeah, it's probably $2 a load now. Can't really afford that. And my washer, I don't remember if I mentioned it in a previous video or not, my washer has decided that it's not going to drain water. So it had already gotten to where it wouldn't go from wash to rinse, but it would at least drain the water and spin it. And then when it should have put the water back in to do a rinse cycle, it wouldn't. So I would just rerun a wash cycle with no soap as a rinse. No, not a problem. But now it won't even do that. The agitator still works, but it won't drain water and it won't put new water in. So it's probably a pump problem. And right now I can't afford to have anybody take a look at it. I can't afford to replace it. Really can't afford to go to the laundromat. But I know stuff's not going to get clean if I try washing it by hand. So yeah, I'm kind of at that point. What do I do? So I'm going to, I guess, try to take some stuff into the laundromat and see if maybe I can't get those shirts fixed. Because I love them to death and I just can't, I can't let myself go without them and without at least trying to fix the problem. If I can get down to once a month going to the laundromat, that won't be so bad. Spend a couple hours there, listen to a book while stuff washes. It's just, you know, how much does it cost? And can I use my credit card to, like, swipe it? Or do I have to have coins? Because, God, with the coin shortage, they say there's a coin shortage. I don't know if it's true or not. I think it's just people are not going to the bank. If there really is a coin shortage and you have to have coins to run the machines, then I'm screwed there. So I don't know what to do. Anybody giving away a washer? Anybody can come and fix mine for free? I tell you, this not having a job thing really sucks. And the more I look for a job, the more I get turned down, the more frustrated I get. I was offered the opportunity to work the election polls, which is $150 for the day. So we're going to jump on that. Once I get the information, I'm going to contact him and ask if my son can do it too, because at least it would be some kind of job experience for him. He's never had a job, so he's in a worse shape than I am. And I don't know if, I know part of it is the whole pandemic thing. There's just not that many jobs in our area to start with. The pandemic, people who've lost jobs are getting jobs faster than I am because they are coming off of a job, where I'm coming off of an unpaid health care, home care, caregiver position. And how do you put that on a resume? Oh, I worked for these many years as an unpaid person. No real job, no references because the person's dead now. I mean, I was a caregiver for my dad. Basically, I made sure that cooking and laundry and dishes and things got done. Grocery shopping got done. I mean, I did a lot of stuff. But because it wasn't outside the home employment, I don't qualify for unemployment benefits. And I don't know how to put that on a resume so that people know that I wasn't just disappeared for a couple years and now suddenly, oh, I want a job. I don't know. I cashed in my one 401k, the only one that actually has any money in it. The other one is through state teachers retirement, and there's nothing there. I mean, less than $100, so it's not worth fooling with unless I can get a job teaching, which right now with the state schools are in, teaching jobs are kind of non-existent. I don't even know if our schools are having actual in-class classes or not, or if they're all online. It's all very frustrating because I could sub again. Not that I like doing it. Basically, a sub is a glorified babysitter. If the teacher leaves you stuff for the kids to do, that's one thing. But a lot of times it's a last minute, oh, I woke up sick. I don't have anything planned for the sub. Just have them do this, that, and the other thing. Especially at the high school level, it's like, oh, they get like a study hall, basically, in the classroom. I had one teacher that every time they called me into sub, it was a test day. So I got stuck giving the kids the test. I was the bad guy. But they loved it when I came in because they knew that when everybody was done with their test, I'd give them like 5 minutes at the end of class to just sit and talk and socialize, as long as they kept it, at a normal, quiet level. It didn't get too rambunctious. And as long as they did their test and got everything done that they needed to do and everybody was done and had it turned in, fine, I had another teacher that I got called into sub for kind of a lot for a while. And for her, the sub plans were always watch an episode of CSI. Okay. Can we watch a different episode each class so that I don't get bored? Because, as much as I love the show, especially the early seasons, I liked it when William Peterson was on as Grissom. Once he left, this show kind of went downhill. But then again, that was several years in, and they start going downhill after several seasons anyway. So, other times they called me into sub, it was for like these special education type classes where every student was doing something different. That's confusing as all get out. But then they're all coming from, you would have at the high school 9th through 12th grade in one classroom, and they were all having to do different things for their grade level. So you might have 5 students and each one's doing a different class. And it's like, okay, how do you plan for that? How do you tell a sub, oh, here's what they're supposed to be doing? Because they don't have one plan. You have a separate lesson plan for each student. They're not all doing the same thing. Those days were just crazy. And I never had more than 5 or 6 kids at a time, which was nice. But then they were all doing different things. And if it was something I didn't know much about, it was really difficult. And they like to call me in for the health and phys ed teacher all the time. And I obviously am not a phys ed type person. I hated having to take phys ed in school. But, yeah, they'd call me in for that. And if the gym was available, then I'd just say, play basketball or whatever, entertain yourselves. Otherwise, we would sit in the classroom. It's like there wasn't anything for them to do. If they were supposed to be doing a phys ed thing and for some reason we weren't allowed in the gym, like they were setting it up for like the theater class was getting ready to do their performance, so they had to have the gym, which because of the stage being on the gym, we couldn't be in there doing our stuff. So we were back in the health classroom. And I had one day where I had a couple guys, they were seniors, they were tall, big guys, and I'm feeling like a little shrimp next to them. I probably had them on weight, but they were taller and broader and stronger than me, and I'm just like, oh boy. And I'm like, sit down, and they're like, no, we want to go in the weight room. No, I'm not qualified on the weight room. I can't let you in there. Sit down. And one of them went and opened the window. I said, no, you don't open the window. Leave the window closed. So when they closed the window, they did it just hard enough. The window shattered. So then I had to send somebody to the principal's office to take care of it. And I'm like, just sit down. Will you put your butt in the seat? Trying very hard not to cuss him out because I was at that point. I was so frustrated. And finally, the principal shows up and he's like, what's going on? Well, one of them opened a window and I told him not to open the window. I told him to close it. And when they closed it, it shattered. It wasn't like they slammed it, but it was when they closed it, it shattered. So I've got everybody away from the windows, which, I mean, you lose a whole row of seating. I said, I'm having a real hard time getting them to listen to me. There's a couple of them that think they need to go in and play on the weight room equipment, and I don't know how to do any of that stuff. I'm not qualified for any of that stuff. I told them to sit down. They're not listening to anything I have to say. And all I have done since they walked in this room is yell at them and tell them to sit down. As soon as you got to the door, they all sat down. Most of the class is fine. Just like 3 or 4 people that I'm having an issue with. That for whatever reason, they think because they're bigger than me that they run the place. And then it started with the paper airplanes. And I had like a whole Air Force base full of paper airplanes. And I'm just like, you know what? This is ridiculous. I said, one more airplane or one more time getting out of your seat, I'm going to write detention slips. And I will send you to the office. And finally they settled down, but I shouldn't have to threaten people, you know? So I was like, please don't call me for that particular teacher again. At least not this year. If those particular students are in his classes, I don't want to be in there. Because if it was a regular health class, there was like, you know, continue doing whatever questions or whatever out of the book that you were supposed to be working on. And they'd sit there and they'd do it and everything was fine. But it was during the actual phys ed classes when I could not take them into the gym, they'd all go nuts. It's like putting a wild animal in a cage and expecting them to be happy. They weren't happy. None of us were happy. The ones trying to do the work and the ones behaving were not happy because there was some misbehaving. I wasn't happy because they were causing all kinds of chaos, and then they broke the window and everything else that happened. And I'm just like, enough. And, you know, finally, I was just like, that's it. I'm done. I was so happy that when that day ended, I was like, please don't call me back in this year for him. Apparently, they also, at one point, offered a class. It was considered a phys ed credit, and it was board games. Since when are board games physical education? I would have loved that if that would have been an option for us. But then, you know, I graduated back in 1990, so back in the dark ages, we didn't have options. We had, and I'm 98% sure that my gym teacher was probably a lesbian. Just certain things that she would say or do kind of makes me think that she was. Not that that's a problem. I don't care about that necessarily. But it was the stereotypical lesbian female gym teacher. I mean, she fit that stereotype so much. And I'm like, really? Did you take her out of central casting and stick her in here? Because we all were like, what's the deal with this one? And it was very uncomfortable if she would walk through the locker room while we were changing. But anyway, she never did anything to any of us, though, so that I know of. But then again, she did give me a C plus 1 quarter and a C- the next quarter and told me I was improving. Now, if my grade went down, how's that an improvement?
No idea.
I don't know either.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
You want some more of the spaghetti?
Still trying to go with the one I have.
Oh, okay. There's a lot on that plate.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of chili left in the blue bowl in the fridge.
Yeah.
If you want just chili. There's only like a spoonful of it, but there's a little bit. We had chili this week. And tonight I did a variation on the Cincinnati three-way, which if you don't know what a Cincinnati three-way is, you're about to learn. In Cincinnati, there is Cincinnati chili. It's a chili without beans, but the recipe is very unique. There's like cinnamon and some other weird spices in it. It's a very unique flavor. I didn't do that. I don't have a good recipe for a Cincinnati style chili, so I just made my usual chili. A three-way is spaghetti, chili, and cheese. A four-way, you add onions. A five-way, you add beans. I don't add onions. So technically mine's like a four-way because I have beans in the chili that I make. So I've got the beans and then I did spaghetti and then my chili, which has beans in it, and then cheese. Technically would be a four-way if you're talking Cincinnati chili style. But since it's not real Cincinnati chili, it's my interpretation of a three or four-way, whatever. So what we had was chili on top of spaghetti, and then I ended up using mozzarella cheese because I didn't have any cheddar thawed out. My package of cheddar's in the freezer, and I didn't feel like getting it out and having frozen cheese on top of my dinner. So I used the mozzarella that I already had thawed, that was already open, needed to be used. So anyway, that was what we had for dinner. And it's now like 11:30 to 5 in the evening. And I'm still looking at half a plate of chili, spaghetti. And my stomach's going, eat something different. Because I've had chili now this is the fourth day, I think. Yeah, I made it Wednesday. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. 4 days of chili. And there's enough on that plate I can probably eat it tomorrow. My stomach is not having it. Chili's one of those things. It's a great idea until I make a big batch of it. And then I'm like, oh my God, there's so much of it. But I only ever make it. I have this big soup kettle and I call it my chili pot because that's the only thing I make in it. Well, technically, I made marmalade in it once. And ever since then, everything that comes out of it tastes sweet. So I scrub and scrub and scrub and scrub. It should not have any residue of that marmalade in it. It's been 2 years now. Almost 2 years since I made the marmalade. Why does stuff still taste sweet when I cook it in that pot? I'm not putting any sugar in anything. I mean, my chili, I brown some ground beef, unless I don't have any, and I'll use ground turkey. And I'll put chili powder in it as it browns so that it's flavored. And then I drain that off, put it in the chili pot, and add in, I don't know, 6 or 8 cans of beans minimum. In this case, I used 4 cans of red kidney beans and I think 3 cans of black beans because that's what I happened to have on hand. I could have put more black beans in, but and then I had 4 cans of regular diced tomatoes, and then I added 2 cans of fire roasted diced tomatoes with garlic because that's what I happened to have on hand. And it didn't seem like it had enough liquid to it, so I added a can of the Hunt's traditional style or traditional flavor spaghetti sauce which is basically just tomato sauce. I don't know that it really has much other flavoring or anything. And just let it cook. The longer it cooks, the better it tastes. And I added a bunch of chili powder to the whole thing to get it up to a good flavor. Add a little bit of black pepper. But that's all I put in it. So it's a very basic, simple chili. And after 3 days of just chili in a bowl, I'm just like, okay, I'm tired of chili. Let's do something different with it. So we made chili spaghetti. Real exciting, right? My life is so exciting. But I do need to go to the grocery, and I'll probably go on Monday because I have to go to the bank. And the grocery is between here and the bank. So after I go to the bank, I can stop at the grocery. Because for some reason, when I cashed in my 401k thing, 403b, whatever the hell it's called, I think it's a 403b because it was from a nonprofit, when I worked for the Girl Scout Council. When I cashed it in, I gave them all the information to direct deposit it. I gave them a cancel or a voided out deposit slip because I couldn't find my checkbook to give them a voided check. And for some reason, instead of direct depositing, when they had all the information they need to do that, they sent me a check anyway. Which just makes me now have to go to the bank and deal with those morons. Once I get a job and an actual income, I'm going to change banks. I'm not happy with the bank I'm at. But anyway, yeah, things and stuff. My life is a mess. But then you already knew that. Is there anything else I got coming up? I don't know. I've got a whole stack of graphic novels I need to read. I've got a stack of regular novels to read. I've got a stack of Dr. Seuss books to read. Just a few. But that should be more than enough to finish off the Dr. Seuss challenge I'm working on. Again, if anybody is interested, at Goodreads, it's a group called A Million More Pages, also known as AMP, A-M-M-P. And for the month of September, there's a Remembering Dr. Seuss challenge, and that's why I have all these. I don't remember this one being such a skinny book. I was going to say, are there any pages? There's hardly any pages. Super skinny book. Would it be to my advantage to do a video where I read some Dr. Seuss books? I could probably read like 2 or 3 books in a video. I know I need to read And to Think I Saw It on Mulberry Street and Hop on Pop. Maybe Sneetches. I know I need to read The Lorax and Yertle the Turtle. And if I ran the... I already read If I Ran the Zoo. This is If I Ran the Circus. There's one called The King's Stilts that I'd never even heard of until I started looking for books for this challenge, and this poor thing's falling apart. Anyway, I have quite a pile of them. I don't know, should I do a couple where I'm reading Dr. Seuss stories? I don't know. I read earlier today, Mr. Brown, Can Moo, Can You? And the whole time, because it's basically nothing but sound effects, the whole time I was thinking, I need that guy that was in the Police Academy movies. What's his name? Michael something? Michael Smith? Michael Jones? Michael something? Where he did all those really awesome sound effects, and it was really him making the noises. He's the one that should do that book. I bet that would be a fantastic video with him doing all the sound effects. Oh, yeah. If you've seen the Police Academy movies, you know exactly who I'm talking about. He was the tall black guy who was friends with the Steve Guttenberg character. Not Hightower, who was Bubba Smith. Not him. The other one. Smaller than Bubba Smith. Physically. I want to say he was Michael Jones? Does that sound right? Man, now I'm going to have to look it up so I could put in the description if I was right or not. Anyway, the dude from the Police Academy movies that did all the sound effects. I can't think of the character's name offhand either. I can't even think of the name of Gutenberg's character. I'm going to have to watch his movies again. It's been a while. I can't remember anybody's names. Other than Hightower and Tackleberry. And it's neither of them. Anyway. I think that's it. My nose is dripping. I need to get off of here so I can take care of that. And maybe fix a cup of hot tea. It's chilly in here. And if it's cold in September, it's going to be brutal in January and February. When I don't have any heat. Yay. I need to contact the lawyer's office and see how things are going. Because I'm afraid to do anything to the house without it being in my name. Because it's still technically in my dad's name. And he said it'd be at least 6 months, probably, for it to go through probate and everything. And I just got a letter in the mail from a different lawyer that I've never heard of for the estate of my dad. And every time I see the letter sitting there, I feel sick to my stomach. So I have a feeling it's a bad thing. And I just can't. I'm afraid I'm going to lose my house. I'm afraid I'm going to end up homeless. I mean, the fear is real. I am terrified. Hopefully, we'll be able to work things out and I'll get a job and we'll be okay. Right now, it's not looking good. Okay, I gotta go. Remember to do all the YouTube things. Comment, like, share, subscribe. Ring the bell icon. If you have any answers to the thing that's going on with the laundry, I don't get it. Why suddenly these weird spots are showing up on stuff that was bone dry when I put it away. Why is it coming out now with spots? Because I put it in the dresser in June. So June, July, August, September. 3.5 to 4 months it's been in the drawer. And all that developed in that time. So I don't know what it is. I don't know where it's coming from. I don't know why. So if anybody has any ideas, I'd really like to know. Okay, I gotta get out of here. I'll see you next video. Bye-bye.